Welcome to 2026. We've got a market update as we sit here first week in January. Looking back at December and also looking back at the whole year as a whole. I think it's kind of fun to do these videos because I'm also going to make a slight prediction on what's to be in 2026. And sometimes you can hit the mark and sometimes you're off. So let's get into what happened in December. So December, we saw the number of listings continue to go down. That should be no surprise. That's very traditional for this time of the year. Active listings at the end of December was 1,700 active listings. We're also seeing the average list price go down from its height in September, right around 700,000. It's now right around 660,000. Not a huge decline. When people are talking about, is it a buyer's market? Is it a seller's market? Absorption rate is the big number, or days on market, or excuse me, absorption rate. So right now, at the end of December, we're at 4.15. And that's months of inventory, meaning that if we stop putting stuff on the market today, how long would it take for all the homes to sell, even the crappy ones? Our high absorption rate was in August at 6.34. So to be down at 4.15 has a couple of things. One, there's less inventory on the market. A lot of people have expired listings or just pulled their listing off the market for the winter. You've got more motivated sellers on the market still currently. And you're also seeing the listings that have been on the market for a while that have done those price corrections to get down and listening to market feedback start to go under contract. And then because you have less inventory coming on the market, those existing listings are starting to sell. And the sold to list ratio is starting to go up. So back in October, we were at like 93%. So if you listed your house for $100,000, you'd be selling it for about $93,000. We're up to 95.2. There's nothing really dramatic about that. But one big change that we did see in December versus November is the average days on market has gone down. Again, tying back in with low numbers of interest. So what's that mean? Where did we really see the year take any big swings? It's been kind of a boring year, honestly. The absorption rate went down about 2% when we compare year-to-date ratio this year, or excuse me, 2025 versus 2024. Our average list price of active listings went up by about 5%. And our average sales price of sold homes went up about 8%. So we kind of expected that. I think if you went back and looked at my videos early in 2025, that's about what we were expecting, was somewhere 6 to 8%. Average days on market did climb up a little bit in 2025. Year to date, it was 101 days. 2024 year to date, at the end of the year, it was 97 days on the market. One of the things that I've been noticing is a very equal amount of homes coming on the market versus what's going pending. Now, that doesn't mean that a house goes on the market and it's pending right away, okay? But for a couple months, I've been watching this. It's been sticking in my head, and I keep seeing it over and over and over again. And I'm going to share with you a caveat to that. So if 20 homes come on the market Monday morning, that similar number is going pending, okay? So again, with 100 days average on market, that means that house 123 Main Street comes on the market on Monday, but 456 Smith Road, which was on the market for 75 days, with pending. And so that ratio is very healthy for the real estate market, because when it's coming on the market, there's a good chance that it's going to go pending somewhere in there and meet the same average that days on market, right? If that makes sense. I don't know if I just completely befuddled people, but my point is that homes are still selling, period. Our absorption rate is 4% or 4 months. That is at the top end of a seller's market. Once we start to get 5 to 7 months of absorption rate, that's a neutral market. And beyond 7 months is a buyer's market. So that leads us into what's going to happen in 2026. And I'm getting a lot of, my coach asked me today, he said, what are you hearing from the market? And I said, I'm talking to a lot of sellers right now, and everybody's asking, should I list right now? So the resounding sound that I see is, I think we're going to see a good amount of inventory come on the market in the spring. And the Feds just had a little bit of a lowering of the market, or the interest rate. That really didn't change much for the mortgages. I know a lot of people, and I myself have done quite a few videos, like the Fed interest rate does not directly affect the mortgage rate. It does to some extent, but not hugely. And so what I do believe we're going to see moving into 2026 is more inventory come on the market. I think that we're going to have slightly higher days on market. I really don't, I'm not expecting, I'm not hearing, I'm not reading about major swings of mortgage rates going down, going up. And so this 2026 might be even more boring than 2025. And when I say boring, I mean flatline numbers, right? Not tanking and not going through the roof. I don't think that we're going to see housing prices jump considerably high. I think that people are going to see more value in their homes by just a little bit, like 4%. Maybe I'm being too conservative, maybe 5. I like the number 5. Let's say 5%. I do think that the buyers that have sat on the sideline since 2022 going, well, interest rates, I'm waiting for the price to go down. I think that eventually they're going to get sick and tired of hearing everybody say that if the interest rates go down, the prices are going to go up. When's the right time to buy? When you're ready. I mean, that's just a simple fact. I've sat down with buyers and done the math game a lot, and usually it makes sense for a buyer to buy if they can. So what's 2026 going to bring? I think it's going to bring some boredom. For us real estate agents, the ones that are out there continuing to talk to people, continuing to have conversations around real estate, build relationships, those agents are going to remain in the game. There's probably going to be the same amount of sales, maybe a little bit more this year than last year. And for the last couple of years, a lot of real estate agents are not doing very many transactions. So I do believe the number of real estate agents is going to go down, which means, more transactions per agent that is able to stay in the game. So if you're a real estate agent and you've been grinding to stay in this and you're doing slightly above average, stay in it, because you will continue to do good, build your market share. If you've thought about getting into real estate, it's not a bunch of low-hanging fruit. This is a hard business. It always has been. But a lot of people got into it when it was on a rocket ship back in 2020 and found out it was hard. Like, there's a frame of mind that says, get in right now. If you've thought about being in real estate, get in right now, because it's hard. And if you can get in right now and you can figure out how to make the sales happen and you can start to acquire some market share, buddy, watch out. Because when the market shifts, and it will, and something pops and there's a bunch of sales out there, you're going to be flooded. But ultimately, probably a lot of people that are watching this video are concerned with their home value. Your home value, at least in North Idaho here, should hold steady. There are some micro markets out there that could drastically change the value of that particular community, but overall it looks strong here. And you know, if you do need to sell your house, should you list it right now or should you put it on the market in April? Well, I'm telling people, like, what is it that makes more sense for you? If you've got a carrying cost, if you're not living in the house anymore, someone passed away and you need to sell an estate house, like, there's limited inventory out there, right? Like, we're looking at number of listings right now is active, 1,700 active listings compared to August, which was 2,500. Okay, or let's even back up to what May was. In May, when all the tulips are out and the roses look nice, you had 2,100 listings. Okay, so if you went on the market when there's 1,700 listings, supply and demand, right? There's going to be more demand for your house, and it just means you need to know what your end game is, right? If it doesn't make sense, if you don't have a place to go until March or April, then let's wait to put the house on the market. And buyers, sometimes it really stinks moving in the wintertime. Actually, let me take that back. It always stinks moving in the wintertime, but there are motivated sellers out there, and you can get a lot in concessions, in repairs being done. So buyers are getting some pretty good deals right now. Anyways, this has been a fun recap. Looking forward to 2026. I will say without a doubt, I am definitely looking forward to 2026. It's going to be interesting to see how all of this plays out. We still don't have enough inventory. Our absorption rate says that. And it's definitely going to be interesting. If you've got some thoughts about what the market's doing, drop a line down below. I'd love to hear from you guys. Or if you have questions, you can reach me or drop a line here. It'll definitely be quicker to get a hold of me on the phone. But looking forward to 2026.